Have you guys noticed the shift in the gaming space away from the RGB puke to something way more mature? And by mature, I mean non-obnoxious designs, multi-use functionality, and a lifestyle approach instead of this heavy focus on solely on gaming. There are a few companies who are trying to cater to this trend, and I actually think that's the future. Let me know if you agree though. It's definitely one thing to see an insane and cool battle station on Instagram, for example, but let's get back to reality. Most gaming setups are in the living room, potentially in your office, or maybe in the bedroom. Eventually, RGB will be so retro, we'll all pretend like we loved it ironically. Your keyboard probably types more emails for work than your WASD movement. Your headset microphone is likely used more on work calls than push-to-talk in games. And your mouse choice is likely after the comfort first instead of chasing the lightest shell in the market next month or the next after that where they drop 1 gram and you don't really care about that because no one should. There's definitely a massive cultural shift in how the desk aesthetic is the flex now instead of simply your hardware specs, you know? And minimalism in gaming gear isn't just talking about something that looks less gamery and slightly more functionality, it's really what's under the hood. So better on-device controls, smarter customization, and performance that's actually built for serious play. It's not just for casual dads, but could be running with the ranks of the professional levels too. And that's kind of the beauty of minimalism, clean on the outside, but sharp on the inside. And the latest Fractal Design Scape gaming headset captures this concept of minimalism perfectly. It's a very mature design on the outside, even with some RGB spill that is done insanely beautifully. They have even built in a startup animation for the RGB, which I think is just next level, man. The base station is fairly low profile that houses the standard USB dongle, plus it wirelessly charges the headset too. With the microphone removed, it's not a loud profile on your head either. This could easily run with the ranks of those, you know, really popular wireless headphones. Pretty good, right? But it's got even extra functionality layers because it's a true gaming headset too. The build quality is phenomenal. Size extensions have this uniform density, the metal volume wheel that is perfectly tuned, easy switching between Bluetooth and the dongle, and even 3 built-in EQ presets. Of course, the microphone is muted in the upright position. It can be removed altogether, and there's even a mic mute button in case you're using the built-in microphones. For their first gaming headset, this is all surprisingly intuitive. Fractal design, well done. And that is the beauty of these multifunctional designs. This could easily sit beside a TV in the living room or your computer desk without adding a visual clutter. Elegance is definitely part of minimalism, but there's only so much color matching you can do before things get a little bit potentially dull, which is why adding color to spice things up in the minimalist space is actually quite important. Say all your peripherals are black, but the funky headset matches the wallpaper. Classy. Which is why I love the Nova 3 in Aqua for this reason alone. So I would say let's not be afraid of cool color accents that could potentially elevate your whole desk setup when it comes to minimalism. And I know it might sound counterintuitive adding something this bright to an otherwise like minimalist space where everything is a little bit more muted, but I just can't help it. This thing is so fun to look at and also to listen. This is a great headphone. I've been using them with my Steam Deck as my primary Bluetooth device, and I love it.
In the vastness of nature, every color tells a story. Matcha green, the color of renewal and fresh beginnings. I mean, take a hint. Hydrangea blue, the hue of tranquility and quiet reflections on how easy it is to work in. Snow white, the essence of purity and crisp air, and having all the hair after the assembly. And black, the depth of mystery shadows, but no mystery to hardware compatibility. This isn't just a stunning ITX enclosure, it's a vibe to shape your mood. The TR100 by Thermaltake. Check it out below.
It is also why I love interesting colorways out of the factory on keyboards. This black and white tone on my Pulsar keyboards looks just so fresh, and they are also another example of what to do right in the gaming space without being flashy or loud. The font choice is clean, we have size and layout variations. Performance is also next level with 8K Hertz polling, but most importantly, the thock is beautiful. They're even stepping things up with the esports line when all the controls are on the keyboard directly, no software required, even for individual actuation point adjustment. You select the keys, use the knob, it's all surprisingly intuitive. No waiting for IQ to update, nothing needs to download for Americade software, no Razer Synapse running in the background. Beautiful. Plus, no Copilot key. Thank you. Any Wooting keyboard is also another great example of minimalism. The design is as clean as it is functional, and just the amount of time they spent on making sure the web-based utility is as perfect as it is deserves huge praise to their team. It has all the performance and features for serious gamers like 8K polling, actuation adjustment, rapid trigger, and these are really well-tuned switches too for sensitivity on that full range of motion. Smooth, no wobble, and in my experience so far, absolutely no glitches whatsoever, which is really important, not just for the pro players, but for the casual players too, of not like needing to troubleshoot stuff. The keyboard typing experience is also phenomenal. Now, I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this, but the Case 65 Plus wireless is a massive surprise from Corsair. It's basically a drop keyboard with some added functionality like both Mac and Windows support, a knob that can do a few tricks, looped switches and stabilizers that sound and feel pretty impressive coming from Corsair. But it's the naming scheme that is absolutely stupid. Case 65, it is not a 65% keyboard, it's a 75% keyboard. Okay, gaming mice are actually pretty safe in the minimalist setup unless you got $20 something from Amazon. Even things like the X2F from Pulsar that is basically half a mouse is just such a cool product for fingertip gamers, but it's not that crazy to use as your daily mouse either. If you anchor your wrist on the mouse pad, this thing is almost unnoticeable because it is so lightweight. But of course, the ergonomic mice are super hot these days. So Logitech Dex, the Pulsar X Lite, the new Death Adder shape, they're all safe choices for a minimalist space. But my current favorite is the X2H ES from Pulsar. I'm on a mission to not rely on software and download something new and having it updated every once in a while, every time I start to change DPI settings. So on-device customization is where it's at. After a firmware update, I have custom DPI adjustment directly on the mouse in 50 DPI increments. I can even set the liftoff distance and enable 8K Hertz polling in wired mode. This is minimalism at its best, with functionality that is available and not hidden. Perhaps you should read the manual, but it's not like buried in the software somewhere. Now for the setup itself with the desk and potentially additional lighting that you might have there or additional accessories, I know we'd love to complain about RGB puke, but it's also how you utilize the RGB lighting on your peripherals that might elevate the space. So like color matching things to the wallpaper or color matching things that fit in your environment is all fine and dandy. It might work towards that minimalist aesthetic. Even when I got my Corsair Platform 6 desk, when I assembled it, I was like, hold on a second, where's the RGB? I assumed it would have it because it is Corsair, and people are definitely starting to use other things outside of RGB lighting to add color to the space, like different color peripherals, fun colorways for the enclosure, for example, that is your showcase element instead of adding color with lighting. Of course, mouse pads have risen to the level of popularity of like you need a proper gliding surface for your performance mouse, but don't even bother of buying a glass surface mouse pads unless you play FPS religiously. A mouse pad either just for the mouse is nice with a properly angled keyboard if you are in the FPS space, or a mouse pad that spans both the keyboard and the mouse together for a little bit more of a cohesive look that ties everything together. So yeah, minimalism in gaming spaces isn't just an aesthetics trend. It's about functionality, performance, and setups that actually work in real life and not just in Instagram posts. And the next flex would be a setup so clean, people ask if you even play games. And if this is where gaming peripherals are headed, I'm all here for it.